MC. Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the Farr Memorial Library. My name is Paola Del Angel and I'm the Reference Department Supervisor here at the library, and among other duties, I oversee the teen and adult programs and events. I'd like to thank you all for supporting the library by attending today's event, and we hope you enjoy it and hope today we are honored and we're gathered here, honored to have a very special guest, Dr. Reynaldo Martinez Jr., a Valley native, retired professor, former instructor and pioneer of PSJA TV, a high school vocational TV production program unique to the lower Rio Grande Valley. Dr. Martinez will be presenting his book titled Roll the Credits, the story of a high school TV production program that ripples through time. There will be a questions and answer session after the talk, and if you'd like to, you can purchase a copy of Dr. Martinez's book over there in the back, and he will be glad to sign them as well, as he does.
Oh, so many faces. What a history. My name is Gilbert Cepeda. I'm a retired theater arts, which I prefer to call drama, teacher from the Barrett campus. And then when we built the Video and Performing Arts Center at North, I became the drama director at North. I was the director for 37 years, and then I retired, and then my daughter took over as one of the 3 directors there. I've got to brag. We just found out yesterday that PSJA North, for the 2nd year in a row, and the 3rd time in my daughter's career as a teacher there, PSJA was named the #1 state UIL champion in theater arts, the state champions. Better than any program in the state of Texas. And interestingly, the #2 state program is also from this district, Southwest, with drama directors who came through the program, got major university scholarships, studied, came back, gave back, and now the top 2 theater programs are from here, leading the state in theater arts. And it all started because of a vision. My father told me when I was a little boy, show me who you're with, and I'll show you who you are. Look around. We changed everything. We believed in this district, and we believed that teachers could have an impact. We had students who were underprivileged, first generation, mostly Mexican-American Hispanics, and people thought we couldn't do anything. Later, they lost to us when we got our medals and dominated video programs in vocational and theater because we had teachers in PSJA who believed in their students. Back in the 70s, when Ray came here, he saw a gold mine. We both came from the same high school in San Benito, and we both went to A&I, which is now called A&M in Kingsville. And when I was graduating to become a teacher, Ray called me and said, come apply down here. It's a gold mine. And he was right. And I came. And as bachelors for 4 years, we lived together and had a great time. And then when I got married, he was my best man. And then we built programs. And then when it was time and the valley was growing and the voters decided to support their kids when nobody else was passing bond issues to support education, we got on television and we told people in the community, there's a bond issue coming up. We need your vote. We need your tax dollars. Your kids need an education. So bond issues passed. Schools got built. The valley got overpopulated. We were 1 high school, now there are 6. Vocational television and theater arts are flourishing like crazy down here because we believed in our students. Ray was my mentor. He taught me how to be a teacher and how to succeed. Then he went on to college. He became a professor, got his PhD, led by example, taught other Hispanic students, you can become a professor too. You can be a doctor. You can have an impact. And he became a vocational instructor who became very instructional throughout the entire United States, leading vocational, having an impact, and teaching future teachers in vocational how to come back to schools and have an impact. Then he retired and had some time and created this, a new book to record the history of what happened in the 70s and 80s with his television department program and the kids who made it happen, the kids from the Valley. These kids believed in using the resources of modern technology, television. We freaked out in the 80s when a new thing hit television. MTV, music and video together. What a concept. Ray created music videos, inspired kids to put their dreams on a new invention called video television. Video became discs. Discs became the internet. The internet became computers. Social media took over. Ray students, to this day, have an impact in the Rio Grande Valley, at the universities, on television programs, and at schools all over the country, because of his vision, because of his dream. I am very proud to announce that this book has now been published, and you can get a copy today, and Ray will sign it. And to give us an idea of what Ray did, a video is being made. How appropriate. A documentary about the legacy is being done by his ex-students. I want you to sit back for a short while and view part of this video. What is going on today is being recorded by cameras to become part of the video for the documentary, which people will get to see about the legacy of PSJA. I ask you to view the screen and view part of this documentary. That's just a taste of this documentary. It's being done by his former students. Their work is having impact all over the place. The University of Texas Rio Grande Valley is wired and connected by modern technology, from the technology that was taught in Ray's classroom. His graduates went on to connect the university. Now you can get a degree from a distance learning program. Who would have thought? In the 70s, somebody had that vision. It was Ray Martinez. My mentor, the author of the book, Roll the Credits. You've got to read this book. It's incredible. I take great pride in introducing Dr. Ray Martinez.
Hi, everybody. It is so great to see all of you here. When we start as children, I think all of us in our lives think about, what am I going to be? Who am I going to become? I want to make a positive impact. And as I was growing up and going through school, I had some teachers who made a very positive impact on me. And by the time I got to be in high school, I kind of felt like, I think that would be a career to pursue. That would provide my life meaning and do something good, to make a contribution in this world. And as you saw in the video, I didn't know what. But as I went through school, I was attracted to media because I was in speech and debate. I was a competitor in public speaking and really enjoyed it. And then when I got to A&I got to be part of the radio station and the television production area. And then after that, it just kind of grew. And then PSJA gave me the opportunity to come in and teach television production. And we started at Napper Elementary School. And I was there for 1 year, the first year of the program. The students were bused over from the high school. And that year, we decided to do some kind of interesting things. I want to read a section of the book that describes one of the things we did that first year. We did do newscasts, right? Newscast is a good training tool because you have to do every aspect of production. And these newscasts were shown on the district cable news station. And they also produced an hour-long dance program. This was the day of disco. This program is called Disco Showcase. It was done live. The students built an outdoor dance platform in the schoolyard at the elementary school. And it was just outside the TV studio, so we were able to move all the cameras and audio and lighting gear and be able to light up that platform. And they invited many PSJA high school students to come and dance in their most disco outfits. They selected the music, they wrote the script, they designed and placed the lighting, the cameras, and then after a couple of rehearsals, they videotaped the entire show in one take. That production was a lot of fun, and we learned much from that experience. And these productions prepared us for what would become a yearly major TV production project, a 30-minute long dramatic format production focusing on a current issue concerning high school students. We decided to tie our production that year to National Alcohol Prevention Week. And we began by producing 7 30-second public service announcements that were designed to increase awareness of the danger and consequences of teen alcohol use. And our major production was entitled 80 Proof Youth. That's a good title. That's a good title. And that production, we entered in competition. We didn't know how it was going to happen, but the University of Texas at Austin was having a statewide video and film competition, college level, and then high school level. And we said, okay, we'll enter it at the high school level. And it was an opportunity for the students also to go through some training in like animation kinds of things that they had at the university. So I took the entire class up there as like a field trip. And we went, and then the awards were announced, and we won first place in the high school division. We came home as a state champion. And after that, that got the whole ball rolling. After that, we just continued. Year after year, the students would come into the program, and we would look at what needed to get done and how we could have a positive impact. I think in terms of the genesis of this book, I had saved pictures, newspaper articles, memorabilia, and I just put them in a box. And then after I decided to leave PSJA, I kept that box with me. My wife, Minnie, would say, why are you keeping that box? And I'd say, one of these days I'll do something with it. But I didn't have time. I was a university professor and eventually became a university administrator, and finally retirement came, and I said, I've got time now. So I sat down, I took all those various pieces out of the box, and I organized them by year, and it brought back just floods of memories. And I said, wow, this is a great story. I think I'm going to write this down. And so I started writing on my laptop, you know, the things that happened in the first, second, third, fourth, all the way through the 10th year. And then I said, okay, I've got all these photographs and newspaper articles. So I took my camera, my phone, and I took digital pictures of the pictures and of those things, and then I inserted them in the story. And I was impressed. I was impressed. This looks pretty cool. And it just so happened, after I had finished about that, I ran into a friend of mine from Valdosta State, where I had been, who had retired a little bit before I did. And I saw him and I said, his name is Mike, and I said, Mike, how are you doing? What are you doing now? He said, oh, I'm working with a publisher. I said, really? Wow, well listen, I've got a story you might be interested in. I said, and he said, well, send it to me, let me check it out. So I sent him what I had written, and after a little while he got back and said, Ray, this is really good. This is a good story. Are you finished? I said, no, I'm about 90% done. I said, let me do a little bit more. He said, well, let's do it. Let's give it a try. So I was finishing up the last pieces I want to put in it, because we held a couple of what I call a gathering of champions. We got together starting about 4 years ago over here at Rudy's Barbecue in Farr. And the first time we had about 20 former students show up, and the second time we had about another 20 students show up. And I then was inspired by my students to put up a Facebook page, to put up all the pictures and things on there. And as I was finishing the book, I went, something's missing. Something's not right here. It's the students' stories. It's their story of how the program impacted their life after they finished, either personally or professionally. So on the Facebook page, I put out a call. And I said, hey, anybody who wants to contribute to the book, please do so. I got 20 stories. And those stories are included in the book. And they just make the book so well-rounded in seeing how education has such a positive impact on all of us. But to me, what's most important is the preservation of our history, of who we are, of who we were, and of what we did. We shouldn't forget. We should never forget the accomplishments that we did together. So many times, history is forgotten. Sometimes even people want to erase it. And that's not a good thing. We need to preserve it, we need to promote it, and we need to share it. And so that's my main motivation for the book. The title says, A Story of How a High School TV Production Program Ripples Through Time. And I want to thank, again, all my former students who have been here today. Could you stand, please? Those of you who are in my program, could you please stand for a second?
You need to do it by year.
Yes, sir. And so many others who wanted to be here or who could not. Thank you so much for doing that. In closing here, before I turn it back over to Gilbert, I just want to say that one of the things that I've always aspired to as a teacher, again, is to inspire my students, is to try to give them that spirit. And the way to do that, and I've shared this with the teachers that I have trained, is that the heart of teaching is teaching with a heart. Let your heart lead the way. And if you let your heart lead the way, you'll be glad you did. And that's what I did. And that has led me here. And has led us to who we are and what we are today. So thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you being here. and to celebrate with us this afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's really impossible to write down everything that happened. We worked so hard, so long, so hard. We didn't sleep at nights. We held class way beyond the hours that we should have. There was no pass, no play back then. It was all play. And we played hard, and we worked hard. The impact of that play, which is called education, which is called learning, is documented in this book. For the next little while here, we'd like to ask some of the former students to come up and have their input from the book of how this program impacted their life. We have several of them. It's going to take a little while, but it's going to be wonderful. The first person, I remember him from so long ago. He had a great impact. He was a student. He was also one of the paraprofessionals who came back, took a job, and taught, and had an impact. And the program changed him. I'd like to introduce Art Sandoval.
Tough being the first one. Thanks, sir. I was in the class of '79, the very first year that they had it at Napa High School, and it was tough getting up and going over there for 3 hours, and was it 3 hours back then? 2 hours back then, and traveling across far to go, spend time doing this, but we all enjoyed it. We had a great time. Just to read you a little bit about what I wrote about Ray and the class itself. I was in my senior year of high school, and I was wasting my time using my elective time to work for the high school counselors. My counselor, Mrs. Molly Thomas, told me I should enter a program called the TV production class for the last 3 semesters of my senior year, which would be better use of my time. I pretty much wasted a whole quarter doing nothing. So I went ahead and joined the program. Without much enthusiasm, I agreed and found it to be the best decision I was ever talked into. It was the first year of the program. Mr. Martinez opened my eyes and heart to a path I had never considered as a career. I excelled in the class and even became a television production student senior of the year 1979. After graduation, I even went back as a paraprofessional to help Mr. Martinez for a year and help teach the class. In January of 1980, I became the first PSJ TV production student to become employed by a national professional TV station here in the Rio Grande Valley. I started as a cameraman for the 6 and 10 p.m. news with KGVT Channel 4, the CBS affiliate. I worked my way up to master control operator, promotion editor, 6 and 10 technical director, news director, and eventually became the production manager for Channel 4. The position of production manager allowed me a unique opportunity to give back to the program and my mentor who had given me so much. As a production manager, I was able to hire all my new employees from the production classes of PSJ High School. I hired exclusively from PSJ TV production program, so I could give these students an up-and-coming career and a start in this wonderful business. All of this is due to the innovative program and an extremely intelligent and amazing teacher, Mr. Reynaldo Martinez, who inspired us to be more than we gave ourselves credit for. These were the best years of my life, shaped by high school and my most trusted mentor, teacher, and friend who I'll never ever forget. Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
All right, thanks for hiring me.
You got it.
It's incredible. People actually made money from our dreams. They got employed. That's what vocational is all about. That's what learning is all about. That's what school is all about. Well, it hit the campuses and it hit the universities. I want to introduce the next contributor to the book, a person who had an impact, a former student of Ray's, Omar Cantu.
Good afternoon. I don't know why this is feeding back. Okay, I'm gonna just read a brief part of what I wrote. Because when Ray asked me to write, to contribute my story and my career, which all came from the class that I taught, I went wild and I just kept writing and writing and writing and writing. Because, I mean, it's such an interesting story, but none of it would have happened without being in that class. And so, thank you, Ray, for letting me put my story into writing to be included in your book, because it was an amazing ride. It is impossible to know exactly how far the ripples of Dr. Martinez's impact extend. I am but one of many PSJA alums who continued expanding their knowledge and experience in the video communications field, and I can honestly say that all my professional accomplishments and success can be traced back to the solid foundation laid in the PSJA TV classes I attended during high school. Growing up, I always had an interest in photography and a desire to work in journalism. My dream job was to be a broadcast news journalist who would travel all over the world to document stories that no one knew about. Working in this field became a real possibility after I heard about a 3-hour vocational TV production class offered to juniors and seniors. I was a junior at the time, and I was enrolled in 2 study hall periods per day. I figured I could be more productive if I could enroll in the 3-hour class instead. However, enrolling in the TV class was not automatic because there were only a limited number of slots available. I begged my counselor to transfer me into the class, but soon learned that being admitted into the class required a face-to-face interview with the TV class instructor. That is when I first met Mr. Martinez. Ta-ta! I made my case for wanting to be in the class, and Mr. Martinez accepted me into the program. His decision to accept me in his class completely changed the trajectory of my life. You see, at that time, I did not have a game plan for my last 2 years of high school and had not given much thought about what my future career would be, but he changed that dramatically once I was enrolled in his class. I now had a purpose and a mission in life. Being in that class for 2 years gave us all so much hands-on experience that many of my classmates went straight into the workforce at the TV stations after graduating. And for me, it provided a solid foundation for enrolling in the Mass Communications degree program at Pan American University. At that time, the equipment we were using at PSJ High School was newer and more advanced than the equipment being used at the university's TV program. My 4 years at Pan Am allowed me to earn my bachelor's degree while doing what I love, producing video programming and working with fellow TV students on team projects. Best of all, the degree program allowed me to enroll in an internship at KGBT TV Channel 4, where Art was working. That was my big break. I finally got my foot in the door. That was in 1984, and started a career in the communications field that lasted 34 years. I have been retired for over 7 years now, and I am thoroughly enjoying retired life. I owe all my professional success to my family, my mentors, and my coworkers throughout my career, but most importantly, I owe it to Dr. Ray Martinez for all he did to touch the lives of so many of his students during his time at PSJA. Mil gracias, Ray. Thank you very much.
an impact. She changed the program. I want to introduce Melanie Cisneros Melstead.
I am so honored to be here, and I wouldn't be here without you, Dr. Martinez, and Minnie. Back in school, I had just moved from Arizona to PSJA, and I was getting bullied, but we didn't have a word for it back then. It was just taking my licks, you know. And so I was one of the first ones who was, the counselors didn't know what to do with me. And so I didn't go through what everybody else went through. The school kind of pushed me into this class. And I was so appreciative of all the big brothers that I inherited from our class. I'm gonna read a little bit about my journey here, and I forgot my book, Classic Me. And yours is long, Omar. My goodness.
Sorry.
So, back then they didn't call it bullying. They called me a bolilla, a fresa, along with a host of other derogatory names. And it was just a normal day for me at PSJ High School. I'm a red-headed, freckle-faced Hispanic, not white enough to hang out with the gringas, and not brown enough to hang with the 95% of the Latino kids I grew up with. My school counselor decided that the best way to help me navigate PSJA was to hide me away in the PSJA TV production pilot program with Mr. Reynaldo Martinez. This is where I found my community. For 3 hours a day, we were given hands-on practical instruction in the new vocational education area of television production. I learned photography basics, video camera operation, editing, on-camera stage presence, writing, and so much more. From the moment we walked in the door, we were busy learning about this new world of TV production. We went on a field trip to see a newsroom, and I got to sit behind the desk and also do a weather report. I was not intimidated at all. We had a very similar setup in our own classroom and studio, and our equipment was cutting edge. They're dinosaurs now when I see the pictures. We had started a PSJA news department, and I also remember covering our football games and reporting. I suppose the reason I was not intimidated when we went on the field trip is because I felt like I could really do it. Mr. M had already taught us how to write copy and deliver news. I was such a ham, and I loved being in front of the camera, as you can see. But it was really the support that I needed to feel confident. In a bad situation, I found my people, and I'm so glad that we're able to honor you, and so glad that I have all my brothers here with me.
We'll continue. There's more to hear. We had another person who had a great impact, one of our students. I take great pride in introducing Pete Derrida.
Okay, recollect, but that's
Okay, hi everybody.
It's an honor for me to come up here and tell my be part of this story on this great book. I hate being in front of the camera. I hate being in front of people. I hate every single part of this. So, but Mr. Martinez made me overcome this fear, and because of it, I was very blessed to have a great career. Anyway, I got to read a little bit of, man, I wrote a lot of stuff. So I'm kind of just going to go through it real quick. I don't want to give it all away. But basically, high school for me was basically hell, man, because I went in there and I was a jock. And being a jock, you're cocky and all this. You know, you're the greatest kid on earth. I mean, you're treated like something else. My sophomore year, I quit football. So, talk about swift kick in the pants, man. That was rough. All of a sudden, I got to do my homework? You know, stuff like that. Anyway, me and Roel, we were always friends. We were friends in football. We were friends since the 7th grade. I think his sister, who's with us, Mary Lou, her and my sister got together. They were at UT Austin, I think, and they said, you know what? These two guys, they need to talk. So after that, we became great friends. One day, we're hanging out, we're waiting for the bus, and Roel goes, hey, man, did you go on that tour? What tour? The tour for the vocational TV production? He goes, yeah, man, isn't that pretty cool? I go, yeah, let's go. I go, well, we kept putting it off. I think it was the last day, man. It really was. And they go, Roel, let's go. And he goes, you know what, Roel, they're not going to take us, man. I go, they want the smart kids. I mean, we're just like mess ups, man. Anyway, we go in there, and it was like me and Roel, and I snuck in my head, man. I put my head in there. Next thing you know, this man, Mr. Martinez, he grabs us, and I'm in his office, man. I'm getting interrogated. And I went in there first. He's like, why do you want to be in this class? And I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I just want to run camera. That's it, you know, because I saw the stuff. It looked cool. I want to be one of the cool kids. So I was in there, and I was like, he kept pushing and pushing. I'm like, oh, my God. I go, I wanted to run out of there, man. I was scared. And I go, well, I can't, man, because Roel's in the waiting. And what's he going to do? He's running out of here. He's going to freak out. So I just went with it, gave the handshake, and I was like, great. I blew that one. Then I go, Roel, you're next, man. So he went in. He was like in there for 15 minutes. He gets out, and then we're like, I asked Roel, hey, man, how'd it go? And he goes, I think I blew it. Yeah, I think I blew it too. Oh, well, at least we tried, man. Anyway, well, guess what? We got to class. We registered, and hey, look, Roel, we looked at, hey, man, we're in the class. Yeah, me too, man. We were all excited. I go, great, I get to run camera. Awesome. So I go in there, and it's the first day, and oh my God, we got to do notes. What? Like, you didn't mention anything about writing. I go, so for the first semester, man, it was note hell. It was every note known to mankind about TV production. And I was like, I just want to run camera, man. Make it stop, make it stop. Okay, if that wasn't bad enough, there was this thing called VICA, which is Vocational Industrial Clubs of America. And guess what? He said, if you're going to be in this class, you're going to be in this club. And you're going to compete. And I'm like, wow, okay, well, I'll be in the club. He goes, no. You got to run for office. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I'm not going to win. And he goes, that piece of cake, man. I just want to run camera. Anyway, man, with my luck, and me and Roel, we still laugh about it today. We call it the Pete factor. Of all the positions, my God, what do I get? A parliamentarian. Then I go, hey, that's a pretty cool name. I mean, you know, what does a parliamentarian do? I go, he's basically a freaking lawyer. And I'm like, oh my God. You know, I almost had a nervous breakdown because I got the book and I'm over here trying to study it. And I'm like, Mr. M, I can't do this. I go, you know what? I can't, man. I went in there and I was, this stuff started really weighing on me, man, because one of the things I think I've always considered myself like a perfectionist. And you give me a task, and it has to be perfect. And I was reading through this book, and I go, there's no way, man. I won't let them down. I'm gonna let them. So I was really stressed out. One day I stayed after school and I go, hey, Mr. M, I gotta talk to you. He go, and I'm like, hey, I can't do this, man. What? I go, I'm sorry, man, but no. And he goes, what? He goes, I gotta quit. What? Why you gonna quit? I go, it's too much. He goes, nah, man, it's gonna be okay, Pete. He goes, don't worry, man, you'll be all right. I go, well, he goes, don't worry, I'll help you. Anyway, we get back, and I stuck it out, and I go, okay, well, I crossed this hurdle, and I go, I still got 6 weeks, man, before I get thrown out, right? Because of whatever, It's like, oh, somehow this is not going to happen, man. So anyway, Note Health continued, and I was like, okay, man, I want to run camera. When do we get the camera? And it continued. We went along. Note Health was over. And senior year came, we did the newscast, and now we just skipped. You got to read this stuff, man. It's a lot to read. We skipped, and next thing I know, I'm graduating. We did the whole news. We did all that, which is fantastic. Thank you. I graduate. I didn't take the normal course like everybody else did. For some, I don't know, reason, I thought I was going to be a doctor, right? So I go into UTPA, I guess at the time, and I'm taking biology and all that other stuff. What was I thinking? Anyway, after 3 years, I wake up in anatomy and physiology, and I thought, I want to do this for like all my life. If I'm lucky, I want to get married, I want to become a teacher, I want to be bitter, I want to be a nasty father, I want to be a nasty teacher, I want to be a nasty human being. And then I want to be so old and worn out that I'm going to retire and I'm going to be worthless. So a bell rang off, man. I go, why don't you retire now? So like at age 21, I retired for the next 7 years. Anyway, in my retirement, I drove a truck for the family, all that, yada. I did that. I was there at home. So happened Mr. Martinez got a job. No, he went, got his doctors, and he left, and my brother-in-law got his job. And my brother-in-law was always picking my brain. Hey, man, you were in this class. What did you do? What you didn't? I go, well, this is what you do, man, with Vic, and this is why you should do it. And there are the notes. Anyway, one day he offered me the job as a paraprofessional. I was like, once again, I was like, okay, but I don't think I'll get it. But anyway, I went and because Invicta had done the job interview. Thank you. Take a bath, polish your boots, and wear a tie, and nice handshake. And I did the whole thing. Well, guess what? I got the job. Okay, which is great. So all of a sudden I had a refresher course, real quick, 10 years out of it. Learned, had to refresh it. Kids were great. We went on and we followed his lead. And we continued the tradition with another generation, which they're all out there working and they're all great kids. Anyway, from there I went on to, I couldn't be a paraprofessional forever. It was embarrassing, man, because I go on a 10-year reunion and people would ask me, so, hey, Pete, man, you were in that TV class in high school, so what are you doing now? I'm like, I'm in that TV class. Anyway, I went off to Westaco ISD as a videographer for their cable access channel. And again, I just want to run camera. And, at that point, you're at an age where, you get cocky and stuff. And it was like, I want to, give me the great assignments, give me the good assignments. And it was like, basically, I'm paraphrasing, kind of based off of what's written on here. You got to read this. Basically, it was like, I was given all the frickin' kindergarten graduations. And the kindergarten stuff, and I couldn't frickin' believe it, man. I was like, what's up with this, man? I took all these courses, I did my time, I want the great stories, I want the fun stuff. And every day was like another kindergarten class, another kindergarten graduation. Well, guess what? After a while, I started loving these kindergarten graduations because no matter how down or mean or angry I was, I would go in there. I would go in there when I'd walk out. I felt brand new. There was a couple ones, and I call it, and I think it's in the book, I call it the kindergarten shuffle. You can't just go in there with big old feet and a tripod and this camera gear and stomp around, because you're going to step on a kid. So I'd get in there and I would just shuffle my feet. Well, in one of those kindergarten shuffles, all of a sudden something comes and grabs my leg, and I'm like, you know, like, what the, you know, you couldn't cuss? I just look at, and I see these little eyes. I love you, Mr. Cameraman. And now I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, going back to the kindergarten graduations, how I ended there. At first, I was like, why me, man? I just want to run camera. Why am I getting these assignments? You know, you go in there and it's a room like this, but there's every freaking balloon and flowers on the mankind, and they're on your way, and all these teachers are on your way, and no, not the teachers, the parents. And it's important, and I'm in there, you know, like, even one time I stepped on one of them. Oops, I just hear this screaming on my piece, and I go, where's that yelling come from? Well, it's like, my toe, and it was a lady, and my big old foot was on her pinky. I looked like, oops. Anyway, I finally said, you know what, there has to be a better way. So instead of being in the back, I just got off to the side, set up the camera, and hit record. And I watched the show. Man, you probably never laughed or enjoyed such a simple show. One shot, just keep it wide. The action's coming to you, but man, if you really want to be entertained and you have an opportunity, go to a kindergarten graduation, because they're the best. Now I'm retired. I'm a farmer at the farmer's market. I bought a GoPro, and today I was thinking about this when today I took some cucumbers, sold out, thank God, and I was thinking, why am I doing this, man? I'm farming. I'm like working like a madman. Then I realized, you know what, Pete? You're a control freak. I go, it's not about the farming, the gardening and all that, the cat, that has nothing to do with it. I go, you're still a storyteller, you're still doing videos. I go, now I started writing a little bit, and I take pictures. And whenever I have a chance, I post videos, but I'm there at home. I mean, I don't have no more, I don't work at it, I don't have anything to cover, but I have my cucumbers, and I have a carrot, and I have my cat. So I'm still, it's in you, man. Once this bug gets in you, it's inside of you for life. And because of that, thank you, Mr. Martinez, for everything you've done for us. Sorry, I couldn't leave it like this. Anyway.
Williams. Ray and I envisioned a video and performing arts center. So it got built. And after PSA North got one, everybody in the valley realized the value of having an event center for the community where you could show things off, and most importantly, it could use technology to video it. So you know what happened? Everybody copied us. Now there are theaters with video capabilities in almost every single high school, big and small, 1A, 2A, 3A, 5A, even the Performing Arts Center in McAllen from the city, because of a vision. That's what happened, and that's the impact it had, because video has that kind of impact, and vocational had the impact for the community. We had another person who decided to write about his experiences. One of the thin students of our program at the time, very cute, good-looking guy at the time, still is. I want to introduce Roel Robles.
I'm supposed to bring a book?
You don't have to, Roel.
I have many books over there.
You want to borrow mine?
Sure. Is there a place where you want to read?
Oh, yeah. Well, you can read there.
Good afternoon, everybody. Congratulations, Dr. Martinez. Good to see you. And I would like to give a thanks to all the classes before 1983, because it was your success that made us successful. And lucky for me, my first job after PSJ at TV Productions, I worked at Channel 5, and lucky for me, there was a ex-TV production graduate, Raul Ramos, who took me under his wing, because once a bear, always a bear. So I was very fortunate in my career. I lived in Tucson, California, Denver, back to California, started my own business, and was fortunate enough to work and do some, what I consider what I wanted to do was long form, documentaries. And I had a great run, and it's all due to Mr. Martinez. And I think we talked about this, I mentioned this the last time we were together, that without this program, I wouldn't have what I have now. I would have never met my wife. I never would have traveled the world. I never would have experienced the things that I experienced, good and bad, but most of them is part of the job, whether it's bad, whether it's good. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. And Pete was lying. We were skipping class to go fishing, and went by, and we knew it was the last day. That's when we stuck our head in there. We were trying to escape because we parked in the back, so we could just get out of school to go fishing. Pete. But we just stuck our heads in there, and it was like, well, this place is empty. And that's when his head popped out. Oh, don't go anywhere. Sit down. Let's talk a bit. It was wonderful. And Pete was right. The most exhilarating thing when we registered the following semester to see our card, and it was TV Productions. Like, damn it, great. This is awesome. Pete, you got it. Cool. Vámonos. Anyway, reading from the book, Class of '83. The impact of the program and Mr. Martinez on my personal and professional life was immediate. Very true. I knew from that day, one thing is, I'm sorry, my eyes are, I'm on pain medication, by the way, just in case I'm not drunk. This is what I was born to do, and it's true. Once I saw that classroom, once I saw the studio, once I saw the equipment, it just fell on me, because I had no idea what the heck I wanted to do with the rest of my life. But when I saw all that, I said, this is what I was born to do, because immediately I kind of understood everything that I was seeing. I said, I can do that, and I can do that, and I can run that, I can do that. The program and Mr. Martinez helped this shy young man out of his shell, which I'm still very shy and still in my shell, but I can go back. I put on the show while I was working, and now I'm retired. I was forced to talk to people I normally would not engage, and introduce myself to others who I normally would avoid. Little did I know the technical training, along with the commencement lessons, the encouragement, would give me a front row seat to history, and this is why I'm very grateful. The first part of my career was in news. I knew I wanted to be the best photojournalist I could be. I was taught to keep learning and not to be afraid to ask questions, which is very important for anybody. The 15 years in news allowed me to witness the best and the worst things. You wrote it down. It's weird to see it in writing. The worst things this world has to offer. I have met many great storytellers in the business, and all were willing to share their knowledge and experiences with me. I have worked at 4 different television stations, news departments from Texas to Colorado, and my job interview training I had at PSJA production program gave me the confidence I needed to walk into those rooms. I'm adding that, but it really did. I never imagined that I would one day cover presidents, popes, natural disasters, riots, and war zones. Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Some notable events I videotaped were the Mexico City earthquake, El Salvador earthquake, Oakland, California earthquake, Los Angeles riots, the O.J. Simpson trial. Wow, I should go back into the business. Heaven's Gate suicide, which was terrible. The Pope visits Arizona and California, the Bosnia conflict, and many more. It was not all blood and guts. Covering the communities in which I lived in gave me a way to many features highlighting people, athletes, and events that give you a great opportunity to some great storytelling. It really does. The second part of my career is and has been fulfilling. I returned to California and started my production company with my wife, Kathy. I wanted to dig my teeth into longer format, I already said this, longer format production and stepped up to a new level. It did not take long before I was rubbing elbows with some of the Hollywood elite and working on documentaries. I was fortunate to be on the ground floor for the new series for A&E network called Cold Case Files. The challenge for this show was the lack of visuals. How do you tell a story that's 20 to 50 years old without recreations? The creator and producer of the show told me to shoot some art and he would do the rest. And I think I'm going to leave it there because that was one of the greatest experience to just let your eye do, and this is what collaboration does for people. When you're working with the right people, you have an idea and you come together and there's no harder thing to do to shoot something that's not there. It doesn't exist. So you do a little artwork, you do a little finessing with your lens, and then leave it to the writer to make it all come together. All this would not be possible without you, sir. And I remember you sought me out in Colorado one day that you were there, and I was going to say something else. I almost cried. But anyway, I want to congratulate you. This is awesome. This is awesome. I can't wait to dig into it. And again, thank you to everybody else who took the class before we did, because without you guys, God knows what would have happened. So thank you all. Bless you.
We are very fortunate at PSJ to have great leadership. While we were here, we had a man who had vision, and he was our principal. And he led and allowed us and supported us and gave us the financial backing and put up with us. And then he left us to become the first Hispanic commissioner of education in the state of Texas. And he had impact statewide. Now there are vocational Go centers in every high school in the state of Texas because we had a great leader who supported us. So we're going to bring some other people to come up and talk, but I do want to recognize and thank Mr. Felipe Alanis. One of our partners in crime. We made some incredible things happen, and they're still happening today. I want to introduce our next contributor, Mary Fonseca Cardenas. Cardin. Right? Carden, here we go. Mary Fonseca Carden.
Good afternoon, everyone. Certainly feels strange to be up in front of everybody again. Kind of feel like I'm back in high school and I'm afraid to do my presentation. Even though I had several in college very late in my life. Because I wasn't a traditional college student. I would work all day and then go to school at night. So I was like 48 when I got my bachelor's. And then 2 years later, I had this crazy itch to go back and continue my education. And when I got my master's, I never thought I would get that far. But it's all because of you, Dr. Martinez. Excuse me. Why I chose TV production. Basically, he sent us an email wanting us to write a little bit about our experiences in the class. It's basically, I guess, the end of my sophomore year in high school. And I was realizing school was going to end pretty quickly for me. I had 2 years before I was going to graduate. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I was very shy all my years in school. So I was trying to find something that would help me. So this is a little bit of what I wrote. I chose PSJ TV production class because I wanted to break out of my shy shell. Most of my school years were filled with low self-confidence, never tried anything due to fear, and missed out on opportunities due to lack of faith in myself. I never expected TV production to be an easy class. There was physical labor as well as studies, and I welcomed that. I felt this class would help me build my self-confidence, grow faith in myself, and get over this fear. Graduation was soon approaching, and I needed skills to assist me to be employable. I also wanted to be a better adult as well as an employee. Dr. Martinez asked if we could talk about maybe some of the things that we did while we were in school. And I guess some of the 3 topics were like production, an event, and an activity that we did while we were there. So for production, we used to sign up for shifts to assist with the MDA telethon with KGB TV Channel 4. I remember shooting some video for our school newscasts. I was aiming the camera at then weatherman Larry James, who was on live. When he finished his segment, he saw I was videotaping him and he blew me a kiss. I was surprised to see that. I waved back and he smiled. His gesture gave me courage to do my job better. An event, we did many through VICA, but one that stood out was a photo taken of me helping a child be videotaped for a child ID event. It gave me my first opportunity of working with children as well as giving back to the community. This has carried over into my church activities as a youth choir sponsor. I play the piano for our church, and I have several children as well as some young adults that sing in our church choir. I also, it helped me with my employment, which is currently in the educational field. I started out as a paraprofessional, I moved up to receptionist, and now working as a PEAMS clerk. So I do all the attendance, the report cards, registrations. So I deal with parents as well as children. Activity, let's see, our class was in a portable trailer. That's where we had our class sessions. In my junior year, it was decided to paint a mural on the south wall. Our then senior, Homer Saldana, designed it. And I remember we all took shifts helping to paint that wall. It was one of the first times I felt like I belonged and could do my part in participating. The camaraderie between my classmates and I is like no other that I have experienced, even in different fields that I have worked in. It was a family. PSJ TV production class was more than just skills learned. For me, it gave me the confidence that I needed, the independence to make the best judgments, willingness to venture into other work fields, and representing my department or district to the best of my ability. I never thought I would ever come this far. All thanks to this one class. and a very special teacher who guided me and helped me open doors that I thought were locked. Thank you, Dr. Reynaldo Ray Martinez, Mr. M, as we knew you in class. Thank you is just not a great enough word to express the profound appreciation I have and feel for you and all that you did for me. I would also like to extend my deep gratitude to Minnie. I don't know where she is, but thank you. Thank you, Minnie. She became our female sponsor and guided us during our competition trips. Thank you both for opening up your home to us, your students, and for being a part of who I have become. I could not have done it without either one of you. Thank you.
I'm looking at the pictures, I'm like, oh my God. Thank you. Just thinking about it, who would have thought, a 3-hour elective course in high school would lead to a career in TV news and journalism for 26 years. But that's my story. And all thanks to PSJ TV production class. I didn't realize this until now. I didn't know you graduated from Texas A&I. I went to A&I for 1 year before transferring. But something clicked right now, and I'll get to it in a little bit, so stand by. So I transferred to the University of North Texas. So upon graduation, I moved back down to the Valley, and my first TV job was thanks to Mr. D, Rick Diaz, at KRGV. And I'm not alone. I mean, there's a number of other folks here who have been hired by the local stations, both Channel 4 and 5, because the news directors realize and know the quality of the work that's coming out of PSJ TV production class. And so that says a lot. Went to Milwaukee for a couple of years, and then for 19 years I was at the Fox station in Dallas as a reporter, so before Colleen quit. So now I'm communications, media relations for the city of Irving. But I'm going to keep it really short. So what I wrote is that I do owe a lot to the PSJ television production class, indebted to Mr. M, you always be known as Mr. M, for his guidance, for his mentorship and inspiration. And looking back, I'm telling you, I realized how he would encourage us. He is all about education, I tell you, because he would encourage us. I remember him talking to us in our senior year, about, no matter where you end up going or seek, whether it's A&I, whether it's Navarro College, and he would always say so subliminally, now that I think about it, he was getting us to think, higher education, and where did most of these folks ended up going? To A&I and Navarro College, and to all this. So, well played, Mr. And thank you.
Thank you. Higher education, the key to a future. There are millions, and I'm not exaggerating, millions of dollars that have been given to the students who went through our programs. Our kids are attending major universities and then having impact all throughout the country. It's incredible what has happened because students realize the value of working hard and dreaming. And there were a lot of dreamers. And today you've heard many. We're going to hear the last one, and then we'll close with some good news about the future. But I would like to mention higher education, which is what Ray led by example, telling the students of the Valley, you can become a doctor. You can get your PhD, and then you can give back and teach people to go back and teach. Ray taught us that. Higher education matters, whether it's through financial aid or through scholarships. But you've got to get an education. That's what has changed all the Hispanic history of our culture. One of those people who worked in the program and works very hard and will be the last of our testimonials is Robert Salazar.
I'm so happy to be here, especially with all of my colleagues, Mr. M. Yeah, Mr. D. Yeah. Mr. Spella, thank you so much. People that made significant impacts in our lives. But I want to trickle down to other folks. Art, the first guy that gave me a break at Channel 4, 17-year-old over here. Thank you so much, man. But I have Izzy over here, Rick Ramirez, these guys that work with me. I was a photographer when I started at Channel 5. Thank you, and give me my break there. Didn't last long. Got promoted, kind of thrown in there to be a producer, and then, of course, assignments manager and ultimately managing editor there at the station. That was my whole thing in broadcast TV. Thank you so much. I do want to ask a moment of silence, just real brief. Johnny Rodriguez was one of our we'll miss that guy. Good person, and so you could please, just for a few seconds. Thank you. He would have loved to be here, by the way. Sure he would have. Sorry, I don't want to turn it into a bummed out fest. This is a celebration. I wrote, kind of like you, Mr. Cantu, I went kind of crazy here, and I wrote a long story. I am looking forward to reading everybody's input, but here's a little segment. Here's a little part from mine. So, Mr. M was everything I expected and more. He delivered instruction with passion and excitement. I mean, the man would make direct eye contact with you as he loudly explained the fundamentals of television, from the cathode ray tube to Roy G. Biv spectrum. Hell, here I am almost 40 years later, and I still remember this, but I soon discovered that Dr. Martinez was much more than a teacher. He was also the debate team's coach and had an obvious talent for captivating an audience. I was very observant and noticed how he moved and talked. His facial expressions always animated. I thought, if this guy can capture my attention deficit disorder brain, maybe I should borrow his style. Well, I did not have to wait too long before I used these skills. He encouraged us to join the Vocational Industrial Clubs of America, VICA, chapter, and even run for office. This was the very first time I had to speak before hundreds of fellow students, and thus helped me break away from my shyness. Learning how to operate a camera and edit video was great, but defeating the debilitating horror that afflicts an introvert is simply all-powerful. It was this one skill that continues to open doors for me to this very day. Okay? And these skills, I'm director of patient support for these, ophthalmic practices across the nation, but I'm still gonna be the guy that's gonna go to Orlando in a couple of weeks to go and shoot a bunch of videos for them. Yeah, so I do multiple things here. So to this very day, I still use my skills. I also have a little YouTube channel. I do that out of love and to give back to the community and share with everyone. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for everything, Mr. M.
Well, I don't know about you, but this has been very heart-feeling. Hearing all these testimonials is great. What has been accomplished here at PSJ North is incredible. But it's not over. It continues. I have some great news. The PSJ School Board has decided that the dome needs to be brought back to life. That dome is where Ray Martinez used to take all of his video equipment, which was worth a lot of money, carry it, put it all into that dome theater, and videotape plays. Nobody in the country was doing that. Our kids got to rehearse and watch videos of the rehearsals and see what they were doing right and wrong, and then perfect it, and then blow everybody away with children's shows. Well, the school board has decided the dome needs to be brought back. I met with the architects a few months ago. They are revising it. They're using funds from the last administration and tax dollars, a lot of money, well spent, as usual. The dome, not only are they going to fix it and make it handicap accessible, they're gonna put bathrooms. You know there's only one commode in the men's bathroom and one commode in the women's bathroom for a building that seats 1,200 people? Well, they're gonna build new lobbies with lots of bathrooms. And they're also putting technology in. They are building stations where video cameras can be put in to videotape productions in the dome. So it's not over. It continues. And the legacy of Ray Martinez will never end. We wish you the best. We want to thank you for coming. Ray's gonna come in and give some closing remarks and then sign some more books. And remember what my father said. Show me who you're with, and I'll show you who you are.
Thank you, Gilbert. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you being our master of ceremonies today. Is Miss Delangel here from the library? Is someone of the library staff? Is someone from the library staff here? Because I'd like to ask, yes, what I'd like to do is if you come forward, please. I'd like to donate one of the books to the library here and have it for everyone. Just a second. And again, this is just incredible. I want to thank especially Rick Diaz for coming. Rick was, Rick was part of our program. He was part of our advisory committee almost from the very beginning, and provided a great deal of support and insight to me personally as the instructor, and guided help in terms of making sure that the curriculum we taught indeed was going to be appropriate for the professional requirements of the industry. And again, Felipe Alanis, my former principal, God, what a wonderful gift. Thank you for coming. Just a great honor to have you here with us today. I'm hoping that our story is not over. The book is over, the book is finished and is here, but I think we will continue. We've had some great opportunities to come together, and I think we will go forward. So again, thank you so much for coming today. I hope you enjoyed the book. I'm going to stay around again here to provide you with more opportunity to purchase a book, and I'll be glad to sign it. And thank you again. So wonderful to see all of you here. And all I can say is have a wonderful life. Yes, thank you.
This was to do before.